Hi, fifth grade. I'm Mrs. Baxter. Let me tell you a little bit about our history course here in fifth grade. Now, this might look a little bit different than what you're used to. Even if you've been at AZVA for a few years, the fifth grade history course is a little bit different from some of the others, and it's had some updates over the years as well. So this is our very first lesson. This is what you'll see when you open that lesson on your plan. And I'm going to walk you through a few key pieces that you're going to see as you complete these lessons. The arrows to navigate are going to take you through all the parts of the lesson that you need to complete. Now, oftentimes there will be both some online components to read and some offline things to, questions to answer and things to respond to. No physical materials were mailed to you for history. Everything that you will need is available digitally this year. But you do see there's a couple of things listed under this materials list. Let me show you how to use some of these things. First off, you see this blue here. It's underlined, this unit student guide. DocX tells us this is a Word document, and this is what we call a hyperlink. So you can click on this link and it will open up a new window where you can download that file. I'll show you how to do that really quick. See how it pops up this down here at the bottom of my screen? If I click on this file, it's going to open it up. Now it's opening up for me on my other screen. So let me bring that over here and show you. I will also get back to that place in our lesson. Our very first lesson walks you through this unit guide a little bit, and I'm going to show you a few pieces as well. So this is what the unit guide looks like when you open it up in Microsoft Word. All students have access to Microsoft Word through their AZVA accounts. If you need help accessing that, you don't have it loaded on your computer, reach out to your homeroom teacher. They can help. So this student guide, first thing I would do, click Enable Editing. That will allow you to save this document and type on it if you want to make some notes. But you want to save this file to your computer. Maybe you save it to your desktop, somewhere that you can easily access it 3 times a week when you do your history lesson, because the details for every lesson are contained in here. You'll see that each row has one lesson. So lesson 1, the stamp of English rights. Here's the lesson objectives, or what you should know by the end of the lesson. Here are the readings that you'll be doing, and here's a summary of that lesson. But as you scroll on down, the top part is full of all of those descriptions of every lesson in this whole unit. You're not doing all of these lessons in one day. Each of these lessons will be on a different day. But by the end of the full unit, you will have done each one of these. Note that just due to the length of the course, some of these lessons might be skipped. So you might be looking on your daily plan and see, oh, hey, yes, last class I did lesson 11, but today I'm jumping to lesson 13. Lesson 12 might have been skipped just due to timing throughout the year. So always follow along with the lesson that's on that day's plan. But once you scroll down past all of the details about every lesson, you're going to see the questions needed for each lesson. So in lesson 1, here are the questions that they're going to have you respond to. Now there's a few ways that you can answer these questions. You can type them in, save them right here in your document, or you can put them in your history journal. I'll talk about that history journal very soon. But make sure you save this document here. I'm going to scroll all the way to the bottom so that you can see that each of those lessons that might have questions, and it's not always every single one, but the lessons that do have some questions will all be listed here in the lesson guide. You are welcome to print this out if that's easier for you, but definitely make sure everyone should be saving a copy of this to their computer. So that is the unit student guide, and that is always contained in the first lesson of the unit. The very first lesson will have the unit guide for all the lessons in that unit. Like I said, this lesson gives some good instructions here. So you can go through and read that in your first lesson. Sometimes you're going to be using outside sources like Scholastic Go. That's something that you have available through your online school under the quick links, kind of in the same place where you would find Big Universe Library. The other material that was listed as necessary would be a history journal. Now, this was not something that was sent to you, but it's something that you have a couple of choices in how you'd like to keep track of your work. The first option is just to use that same document that is your student unit guide. You can save that to your computer. You can take notes on that document. You can answer the questions on that document. Just remember to save the file every time you complete a lesson. Some students like to have a separate Word document where they keep their notes. Completely up to you. If you are less of a digital fan and more of a handwriting fan, maybe you want to use an actual notebook. You can pick up a notebook. It doesn't have to be any specific shape or size, anything that works for you. If you really do want a physical notebook, but you cannot get one or you don't have access to one, reach out to your homeroom teacher. They can help with supplies as needed. The other thing that I've seen some students do is to keep a folder. Inside their folder, they will just put loose sheets of paper where they have answered their questions or taken their notes. Maybe you write history on the front of it so that you can keep track of it. But you've got lots of options. However, it helps you to stay organized and keep your notes the best. One other thing I really want to show you as you're going through your history lesson, because you don't have a history textbook or any of the other smaller books that we might be referencing through the year, it's going to be really important to follow the links that are included in your lesson. When it comes time to read in your lesson, it will list out for you which pages you're supposed to be looking at. And again, we've got this blue link here. I'm going to click on this link and it's going to open up the ebook of our history textbook. It's a big book, so it might take a moment here. One thing that you will likely notice is that the page numbers that are listed here for the physical book don't always line up with the pages listed in the ebook. Not quite sure on the reason why, but it can show you another way around that. So to navigate this ebook, there's a couple of different things that you can do. Down here on the bottom, you can see what page that you're on. You can use the arrows to move backwards and forwards. But since if we looked in our lesson, we're trying to get to chapter 55, which is book pages 258 to 260. I don't really want to click 258 times. So instead, I'm going to come to this contents menu here. Click on contents, and it is going to give me a list. Now I have to kind of scroll through. It's being a little bit funny here. Apologies, it kept freezing on me. I had to pause my video, but I'm back again. Going through that content menu was not working for me. Maybe yours will work better, but I'll show you another workaround that we have. So down here along the bottom, you see this page layout that looks a little bit different. When you click on this button, down here at the bottom, you have the option to type in pages. Remember, we were looking for page 258. I'm going to type that in and push the arrow button. So I am looking for chapter 55. Let me make sure. Yep, it got me to the right place. Excellent. Okay, so that is another way that you can navigate when you're in the book. You can zoom in here so that you can see this a little better. It's kind of hard to read online when it's so small. You've got lots of zooming options, as large as you need, or zoom out if you wanted to see it the regular page layout way. I come back to our lesson here. Excuse me. Then here are the same questions that were listed in your student unit guide as you go through. You're going to want to jot down your notes first, to write down your answers before coming in here to check the answer. Your answer does not have to look exactly like the one on the screen, but you should have some of the same ideas in it. If you don't, make some updates to your notes. Again, you're going to want to watch. Sometimes they'll have you going back and forth between the book and the online school lesson. So keeping that second tab really close and open is very helpful. That's a quick rundown of what a history lesson in 5th grade looks like. I hope that was helpful. For any further questions and clarifications, please don't hesitate to reach out to your homeroom teacher. Thanks, 5th grade.